This week in the Loft, we crack the code on live looping in Ableton Session View with a game-changing MIDI foot controller. Stay with me. Welcome to 5 Loft, where the process is the story. I'm Al Clark. You know, guitarist Robert Fripp once said about live looping that it's a way for one person to make an awful lot of noise. Well, this week in the Loft, we tackle a fundamental issue. How do we gain access to one of the most powerful loopers known to musicians, and I'm talking about Ableton Live Session View, in a way that allows us to record spontaneously, organically, not in takes with a metronome count-in. In other words, how can we access Ableton Live Session View in a way that we can record in the middle of an improvised jam, hands-free? Now, I realize that there are many methods of live looping, and we're only talking about my specific use case here. But if you're like me, and you're kind of done with one-button loopers, yes, they're good for practicing, and yes, they're good in a live situation. Look what Trey Anastasio can do. And even multi-track loopers like the Boss RC600, which can do 6 tracks, or the Headrush looper board. That's a 4-track looper that I used for 5 years and eventually had it synced up through MIDI to my Akai MPC-1. The problem is that you still have to get the audio out of the box if you want to do any arranging. I guess what I'm saying is, if you're going to end up in your digital audio workstation anyway, let's figure out a way to get the benefits of a standalone looper and the benefits of being inside of the DAW. Enter Ableton Live Session View and the Morningstar MC-8. Okay, so I have my session view set up here. I've also got my recording of the Morningstar MC-8. By the way, this video is not sponsored by Morningstar. At the time of this recording, I think I have like 6 subscribers, so it's definitely not sponsored. So here we go. I just want to give you a little bit of insight into how it is that I've set up my foot switches. I have left and right here, and what that allows me to do is go from track to track. So I've got multiple guitar tracks going here, along with some drums and some bass and some chords set up already. So I can go from track to track. I can also go up and down, okay, to different scenes if I wanted to. And as I go from track to track, I can arm these tracks, okay, and if I wanted to, I can hit record. And you'll see here, according to Ableton Live's global timing, it'll start recording. I can stop that record. Again, it'll stop at the end of the loop because of the global timing, and now it can play back. I can also, at this point, delete that if I wanted to and start over again. I also have the ability to hit play here, which is just using the enter button, and it allows me to play different tracks. Let's see this thing in action so I can show you just how simple and how effective using this device is in Ableton Live Session View. Okay, so let's see if we can get something happening. I do have an instance of Ableton Live going with some pre-recorded tracks that I've done. I've got the push 3 going, but you're not going to see that. I do have the MC-8 going at the bottom here with my foot, and I've got the telly here because the Strandberg's in the shop with a bad input jack. All right, let's see if we can get something happening. So I can come down here, I can hit play, and that's going to launch this clip. Clips will be launched according to the global timing, which is 1 bar. We can move to our right here, and we'll wait, and we'll launch the bass. And here we go. We'll move to our left. Stand by for the drums. Sweet. Now we'll move to our right. We'll arm the track, and then we can start the jam. I'm going to cut the mic, get better sound. Whoops up. very easily, very intuitively, what I can do is I just move to my right, arm the track, and I'm ready to go. Stand by. All done in the moment, all done fluidly. That's the power of this thing. Let me stop this. Oh, that's the power of this thing. Hello? That's the power of this thing. The ability to, in the moment, have some sort of improv going, and then with just the tap of a foot switch, like on a standalone looper, you've got it. But here's the power. At this point in Ableton Live, it's already in there. With just a hit of the tap button, I'm over in arrangement view, and I can start to arrange this track. Like house music, like all this stuff where you've got sort of a full, what is this? This is like you're building the drop, and then you're gonna go back and arrange things and then add things in the transitions. That's what I'm talking about. That's my workflow, at least that's what I'm working toward at this point. I think I've got the tools here. The MC-8 is a big part of it. Listen, thanks for joining me on this episode. Next time, we'll dig a little bit deeper into the MC-8 and we'll take a look at some alternatives to how to set up Ableton Live with a live looping situation. As always, I'm Al Clark in the 5 Dot Loop, in the 5 Dot Loft. We'll see you next time.